Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Matt Greer Music Channel. I am your host, Matt. So today I just wanted to do a quick kind of initial impressions video on the Liven Lofi-12. I've been making a lot of music with it this week, had a lot of fun, and I have some thoughts. So maybe this will be helpful to you if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on one of these yourself. So I'll start with the cons first, and then we'll end on the pros, so we end on something positive, and then I'll put a little jam at the end. So cons. So it's a budget-friendly device, right? So there's going to be some trade-offs. Number one of those is sampling time. You have up to 4 seconds of sample time per sample slot. Now that's not global across the whole machine. I'm sure it adds up to, however many minutes, 126 times 4 seconds, whatever that ends up being. So you have a lot of room for samples. It's just one sample can only be up to 4 seconds long. I haven't really run into an issue with that, but if you wanted long phrases, multiple chords, a whole 4-bar section of a song, or like a vocal phrase or something like that, this is probably not the device that you want. There are other things out there that would probably meet that need better. So that's number one. Number two, some of the effects are just frankly unusable to me. The chorus on it I find to be extremely strange. And when you turn up the depth of the chorus, it seems to like reduce the volume of the sample and kind of take away some of the fidelity of it. It's one of the weirdest choruses I've ever used, and it doesn't seem to really separate the sound and the stereo spectrum the way I'm used to a lot of choruses working. You can hear it somewhat on some sounds and kind of not at all on others. It's bizarre. There's a couple other effects that to me are just not really usable. Like there's some filters in the effect slots, which I don't understand the need for that because there's already a filter on each track of the sequencer. So it would have been nice to have seen something else, some more effects, like, I don't know, like something that grunges the sound. Like I'd like to have an overdrive and a distortion, things like that. The reverbs, let's talk about those too. Now this is more controversial. I don't mind the reverbs. I think they're pretty cool sounding, but they are more of like an echo chamber thing, and that goes for whether it's the hall, the plate, the infinity, the tonal, whatever. They all have sort of an echoey quality, kind of like a space echo sort of thing. Not quite a delay, but it's unusual. It's not real smooth like a Valhalla or a Black Hole or something like that. So if you're used to like really intense algorithmic reverbs, you probably won't like the reverbs on this very much. But I find them to be pretty good sounding once you get accustomed to what they are. So that might be a con for some folks. The build quality, it's plastic, it's cheap, it runs on batteries. It is what it is. But again, I think for the cost, you sort of have to understand that. Yeah, but that's kind of it, really. There's a whole lot of things that I could say it doesn't do, but it's not really promised to be any of that. Like, this is not going to replace your MPC. This is not going to replace your Roland SPs. This is more of an old school, straightforward sampler with a sequencer built in. I think the sequencer is awesome. It's a 4-track sequencer that each track can be natively extended up to 4 bars, but you can divide the time signature down, so you can make that up to 8 or 16 bars if you wanted to. It's got parameter locking, so you can do things like flip the samples on a singular track. So I could have a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and some other percussive sounds on each little step. So you can do a whole drum kit on one track, thus expanding the 4-track capability further. And the polyphony is greater than 4 as well, so you can make a lot of use of that. But I love the sequencer. It's very powerful. It's very Electron-like. So if you're familiar with Electron's workflow, you'd probably be very at home with this. I do like the filters, low pass, band pass, high pass, and there's different modes on each. Now, I don't know if it's a 12 dB ladder filter. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a 4-pole. I don't have any idea. I don't know if Sonicware's ever even said, but it's a rich filter, and as soon as you apply it, it definitely adds a lot of character to your sound. The resonance can really peak, and the pass, high, low, whatever it is it's very notable. And then of course you can tie that to the LFO or parameter lock it, and it becomes a very good, rich sound shaping tool. There are some effects that I think are excellent. I really like the delay. And there's this other one called Tilt that seems to be sort of an EQ pass as well. Not quite like a filter because it doesn't have that resonant peak, but for if you want to isolate a bass or boost a bass, it seems to be very useful. So yeah, and then finally, I think the sampling workflow is just dead simple on this thing, man. Like if you find a sound you like, you can get it in there and start sequencing that sound like immediately, which is really important to me on a sampler and really any music making device is ease of use and a fluid user experience. And I think they really nailed it on this. And finally, I just dig the sound of it. I think once you kind of get everything in there and you start tweaking your sounds and you apply those filters and you get the effect sends going and the reverb and everything balanced out, man, it just kind of glues it all together. It just has this, I don't know, thick, chunky sound that, to me, it sounds better than the price tag would indicate. There's other budget-friendly samplers out there that I don't think are as good in that department as this one. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to give you a few thoughts since I've been working with it for the past few days to see if it might help you make a decision if you're on the fence. With that being said, I hope you stick around. I've got a jam here at the end, something that I just whipped up today that I hope you enjoy. Thanks as always for watching, guys. See you later. Bye.